Well, that was Oleksandr Usyk. He told his country he loves them. He said if his father was still here, he would say to him, I can. That was a very entertaining weigh-in.
And you know what? If you rushed up to Usyk now and took his pulse, you'd think he'd just come in from a walk with his poodle. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, ice in his veins. The guy's as cool as they come. I mean, what's not to like about Usyk? If you're a father and you're telling your kids and trying to teach them what a man's supposed to be, it's Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, Usyk has been consistent throughout the build-up. He has kept everything the same. Ice in his veins, as you say. But Tyson Fury has gone up and down and up and down. This time, very much up.
Yeah, very much up. I think all week Tyson has kept a lid on his emotions. But today, it came out. And now I think we're seeing the true Tyson Fury in what he's thinking. He means business. I think his weight is a little bit lighter. For the reason I think he's got to compete in the early rounds. I think he's expecting a moving Oleksandr Usyk, and so for me, Tyson knows he's got to compete and win a few of those early rounds. That's what he's like.
Well, Tyson Fury has just left the building as well, but let's talk about those weights. Come on, Cole.
No, the weights, I think, I expected Fury to be a little bit later, but that weight's a decent weight for Fury. Usyk's up a little bit more than we all thought, probably.
Absolutely.
But he's not fat. It's just maybe good, like Lennox talked about it. It's good
muscle.
Extra weight, good muscle, what you need it. So, I mean, as an ex-fighter, Richie, this is the most buzzing I've ever been in the lead up to a fight. Like, I feel like I want to fight. This is the first time ever I've missed boxing and missed fighting from just watching what I've just seen. And I'm not just saying that for a soundbite. That's how I feel right now.
If you go running in the morning, son, I'm calling your wife. I'm calling your wife.
We got the swimming race tomorrow, mate.
No, we haven't. That's another story. That's for another night.
Listen, I keep hearing things about there being no atmosphere in Riyadh. No one cheers. Did you hear it up there,
That was
Carl?
great. Yeah, that was noisy. And that's what a fight of this magnitude deserves. It deserves an atmosphere.
See, I've always fought with the atmosphere, Dev. It's because, and this is not a slight on the Saudi Arabians and the men from Riyadh, men and women from Riyadh, they don't know what to do. They don't know if you're meant to shout, if you're meant to scream. They don't know if you're meant to stand up. They've never been at big fights, so when they sit down, they might be watching snooker or a performance in the theatre. They will get better, and they'll be dragged on by a couple of thousand Brits tomorrow night, trust me.
They'll copy the Brits and the Ukrainians
Bingo.
tomorrow night. They'll start it, and the Saudis will get behind it too.
I think that's the best atmosphere I've seen here over in Saudi, actually, at a weigh-in, which is good news. And like you say, I think they'll follow the lead of the Brits, I think.
Absolutely. Listen, if this is becoming the home of big-time boxing, fans will flock here, and they have certainly flocked here for this event. Listen, I'm not sure how much we can repeat Tyson Fury's message, but Oleksandr Usyk's message was pretty clear. Tyson, I will not leave you alone. What does he mean, Cole?
I think that means he's going to fight aggressively. He's not going to move. But again, maybe it's a man game. I think Chris Mannix asked a really strange question to Usyk
about the dad.
On the eve of the biggest fight of his life, trying to get him a little bit emotional. Absolutely no need for that, but Usyk handled it like Usyk handled it, like a man.
Well, guess who's come back? Lennox Lewis.
Back.
You've seen it up there. What did you think?
It's, it was quiet one day and it's rowdy today. So you never know what you're going to get what you're going to get. And it's all part of his plan. He's been through these things a lot of times, so he knows what he's doing.
Were you expecting that? Because yesterday there was nothing, he didn't look at him, and today he more than looked at him, he stuck the nut in. Were you expecting that?
No, he wanted to get in his face and say, yo, this is what's coming at you. I'm serious, and you're going to get it.
And that's what he told him, basically.
And that's absolutely what he did. But what you couldn't see from where you were sitting down the front there, Lennox, but Carl and I and Richie, we could see Fury coming way over there between those palm trees, and I said straight away, different Tyson tonight. Shirt was off, hands are up, there was that look on his face. He ran onto the stage almost, didn't he? Let's get it right.
Yeah.
That was going to be a confrontation, 100%.
Oh, 100%. He wanted to, liven. He knew he was quiet yesterday. And everybody expected him to be. I expected him to be quiet, but he came out, focused and saying that, he's ready.
Lennox, I've been retired 3 years. You've been retired a little bit longer than me.
Yeah.
That's the first time ever, and I mentioned it just before you come up, as an ex-fighter, I felt like I wanted to fight again. How did you feel there when you seen what was going on?
Listen, the hype is there. The
It's
hype
there.
is there. Like, yo, he's ready. Both of them are ready.
The hype is there, and certainly the extra weight is also there for Oleksandr Usyk, nearly a stone heavier than what we normally see him at heavyweight. What did you make of that, Lennox?
With Alexander,
Yeah.
he's put on some good weight. You can't really see where he put on the weight, but that
Yeah,
extra
good
weight's
point.
going to count. That's for sure. I'll tell you that.
And he was a little bit lighter, Tyson, but not. It was about what we said, 18-8, 18-10.
Listen, I'm surprised to see love handles. I'm surprised to see love handles. He had them, but he boxes great with love handles.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I heard a good comment the other day about Tyson's weight.
Keep it clean.
He said that he wins fights when he's fat anyway. What
Yes.
difference does it make?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I would love to see Tyson with a little bit more weight, but obviously he's taking the fight a lot serious. He wants to have the speed, he wants to have the mobility, and he's going to do that with lighter weight.
And the other thing is, in the build-up to this fight, compare it to the Ngannou fight, there were outings, there were dinners he had to attend, there was, kissing babies and taking photos. This time, I don't think there's any of that really going on.
No, and nor should there be. He should take this fight 100% because the guy he's fighting is a serious guy. Like I said, he's got the whole entire country behind him. His country's at war right now, and he's got people on the front line, friends on the front line that he's basically, fighting for them as well.
Richie, it feels like this has become quite an emotional fight now as well. We saw it up there, tensions really spilling over, so much on the line, Richie.
So much on the line, yes, tensions are beginning to spin over now for Tyson Fury's camp. I also think about Sugar Hill Stewart. What a great performance he's putting in terms of being a coach, of getting a man to the top. He's great. His uncle Emmanuel led Lennox to the top as well. So that for me, because yesterday he was a bit emotional, Sugar Hill Stewart. So that's a great achievement for him. But in terms of Tyson Fury, he overboiled today, which I think's a good thing. He's got the balance right. I think he's been pretty calm all week. Today he exploded. It's getting closer.
If you look at it like a pressure cooker, so all week long it's just been normal. Now, if he hadn't have done something tonight, he might have exploded too early tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they've eased him down. So they brought him down to a good level, and that's what coaches do. He had a line. He was talking to me earlier in the week, Sugar Hill, and he said this is something that Manny used to say. If you watch the fighter close enough, he'll tell you everything. And I didn't get it at first, and I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. So they know exactly what he should do. Whether this day's a 7-round spar or a 12-round spar, whether this day's a 5-mile or a 10-mile, whether this day's an X or a Y. So that tonight, if you interviewed Sugar Hill now or Andy Lee, they'd go, don't worry, it was all planned.
Yes,
I'm convinced of that.
Yes,
Simple as that.
Let's talk about Oleksandr Usyk's message to Tyson Fury. He said, Tyson, don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone. Quite a menacing message, Lennox.
If you take it serious, I wouldn't listen to that if I was up there. I was like, I got my own thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Also, you got to remember, his English isn't brilliant either, so it's maybe one of the phrases he knows and he likes to use on repeat.
And looking at his weight, he was a little bit heavier than what I thought he would be, Oleksandr Usyk, because I think the movement's going to be a big part and a lighter frame might be better. But having said that, if he does get dragged in, he's on the inside, maybe he wants a bit of weight to compete with Fury. He doesn't want to be roughed around too much, because let's face it, Tyson is good at wrapping people up, he's strong on the inside, and Oleksandr Usyk doesn't want to be thrown about in there.
Richie, just how excited are you to be calling this fight tomorrow?
Listen, it's a privilege to be here. I'm amongst great fighters. I just try and concentrate on the fight and say what I see, basically. But I'm looking forward to it because here you've got two guys who are equally as good as each other, tactically as well, and mentally they're very strong individuals and great fighters. So it's a privilege.
I got a question to ask you.
Go on.
When do you think the peak of the fight will be? What round?
Oh, that is. You know what? That's a cracker. Probably round 4 or 5. Because Steve Bunce has just gone 4, so I'll probably go around 4 or 5 for Lennox. I actually think, Lennox, that I think Oleksandr Usyk is going to start very quickly, and he's going to want to get those early rounds, and then he's going to want to make Tyson come to him. If Tyson fights big, stands back, there's a big gap there. If he's going forward, he's a easier target to hit. So I think Oleksandr Usyk is going to be busy early on to get the points up, get the rounds under his belt, and make Tyson come for him. Will Tyson fall for it?
Can I answer that question, Lennox?
Yes, please.
I think that this fight's a long fight. I think the last 3 rounds are going to be phenomenal. I think the last 3 rounds could be make or break for and a decision made on who wins and who loses. The corners are going to be very important in the last 3 rounds. Yeah, it's what a
Steve,
fight.
I got a question to ask you.
Go on, bro.
Matchup of styles now.
Yep.
Yeah, what's going to happen in the first couple of rounds because of the styles?
The first round, I'm convinced of one thing. I'm convinced Usyk, in the first minute or two, will try and put it a little bit like, put it on Tyson, get close, sensibly close, and I'm convinced in the first couple of rounds, Tyson will use that ring. I think he'll start coming into the centre after 2 or 3 rounds, but I think the first round, Usyk has to be aggressive, and I think he'll try and push Tyson back with sensible moves. Some maybe not even throwing punches, just getting close. What's going to be interesting, we talked about this earlier in the week, is the referee's going to be under pressure because the Tyson Fury camp are going to say, tell him not to turn his back to Usyk, and the Usyk camp are going to be screaming at the referee at the rules meeting, tell him not to hold, not to lean down. The referee's going to, I'll tell you what, he needs to get in that ring tomorrow with some earbuds.
Needs to be a
You know
strong
what they're
referee.
doing, though? You know what they're doing? They're putting that in the referee's head ahead of time.
Yeah.
So he's going to be looking for it. So I understand that game fully.
I was actually in the rules meeting earlier. I heard a lot of this stuff. I could hear a lot of stuff going on in there. But listen, you've been asking some questions, Lennox. We want to get the final word from you. 25 years in the making. You're here to witness the coronation of a new king. Give us your final thoughts, Lennox Lewis.
It's gonna be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I know that both guys are gonna put on the pressure. Both guys are gonna give it their all. That, you know, there's 2 countries involved. It's not just the same country. So, you know, one country wants to win. I'm looking for a great fight. You know, everybody said good things. I think Usyk's gonna start fast. He has to start fast because he wants to get those early rounds, and you're correct. But there's gonna be a peak, and I'm saying in the middle rounds there's gonna be a peak. Those last 3 rounds, you know, there's gonna be a peak. They're gonna fight their heart out for this fight, because I know I did.
Absolutely cannot wait for it. Thank you so much, Lennox Lewis. Thank you, guys, and thank you for joining us. We are edging closer and closer to undisputed, just hours away now from learning who the new king is. Do not miss Fury versus Usyk, the Ring of Fire, tomorrow night.